The chair beneath you is solid, unyielding, unlike the rest of your world, which has dissolved into something uncertain, something lost. The air smells faintly of dust and old paper, the scent of a life paused mid-breath. Outside, the world moves on indifferent. A car hums past, a bird calls. But here, in this quiet space, time has folded in on itself, and you are left holding the weight of what used to be. Is it her? The way she laughed, low and warm, like sunlight through amber? Or is it the dream you once clutched so tightly? The one that slipped through your fingers like smoke? Maybe it's neither. Maybe it's the person you were before all of this. The version of yourself who didn't yet know how deep absence could cut. You press a hand to your chest, half expecting to feel the jagged edges of memory beneath your ribs. But there's only flesh. Only breath. The pain isn't physical, yet it's there. A stone lodged somewhere between your heart and your throat. What if I had said yes? What if I had walked away sooner? What if? The questions coil around you, tightening with every exhale. You trace the outline of your grief like a cartographer mapping ruins, as if by naming each broken piece, you might somehow rebuild it. But memory is a trickster. The past you mourn is already half fiction, polished smooth by retelling, distorted by the very act of holding it. A breeze stirs the curtains, and for a moment, you imagine it's a whisper. Let go. But how? The weight is familiar now, a companion, in its own right. To release it would be to admit it's truly over, and that's a surrender you're not ready to make. Yet, the question lingers, soft but insistent. What is it really that you think you're holding on to? Not her, not the dream, not even the past, just the ghost of your own refusal to say goodbye. You've tried everything, lists scribbled at 3 a.m., diagrams of cause and effect, timelines stretched across your bedroom wall like evidence in a detective's case. If I can just trace the fracture lines, you thought, I can glue them back, together. You dissected every word, every silence, every glance that might have been a warning. You rewrote conversations in your head, scripting better endings, sharper comebacks, kinder exits. If I had been softer, if I had been stronger, if I had known then what I know now. The mind is a relentless archivist, replaying the same scenes, on a loop, convinced that this time you'll spot the hidden clue. But the past isn't a puzzle to solve. It's a shadow puppet show, all shapes and no substance. The more you chase it, the more it dissolves at the edges. You tried rebuilding, too. New routines, new cities, new versions of yourself stacked like armor over the old. You ran until your lungs burned, as if distance could undo what time could not. But the past isn't a place you leave behind. It's the echo in your footsteps, the hitch in your breath, when a scent or a song catches you off guard. And then there were the bargains. The silent promises whispered to the universe. Let me carry this weight forever, just don't let it have been for nothing. You mistook suffering for meaning, as if pain could be the glue that held the broken pieces together. But effort isn't redemption. Understanding isn't freedom. The mind whispers, if I just know why, I'll be free. But the truth is simpler, harsher. Some doors only open inward. The key isn't in the past. It's in the hand that's been clutching it all this time. Let go. You're not ready to hear it yet. But the whisper is patient. It will wait. You imagine the past as a riverbank, your fingers dug deep into the damp earth, knuckles white with effort. The current tugs at your ankles, cold and insistent, but you refuse to be swept away. If I just hold on a little longer, you think, I can keep it from disappearing. But here's the secret. The river is already gone. It's not flowing past you. It's not even there. The water you're so afraid of losing dried up long ago. All that remains is your grip, the ghost of a current you swore you could still feel. The paradox coils around you. You cannot release what you never truly held. The past isn't a place. It's not a thing you can keep in jars or lock in drawers. It's the scent of rain on pavement that's already evaporated, the warmth of a hand that's no longer reaching for yours. You've been clinging to the imprint of the water, not the water itself. What if the story you're carrying is also carrying you? The whisper is sly, slipping between your ribs like a breeze through a cracked window. You stiffen. The story, the one about betrayal, about love lost too soon, about the version of you that was supposed to be, has been your armor, your alibi, your reason to stay small, to stay safe. But stories are sly things. They promise meaning even as they drain the color from now. They say, look back, when the only real thing is the ground beneath your feet, the breath in your lungs, the way the light slants across the floor, this second, this moment. Try it. Uncurl one finger. The earth beneath your palm is dry. The riverbank is just dirt. The past isn't a place you're anchored to. It's a weight you've been carrying, thinking it was the only thing keeping you from floating away. But what if you let it go? Not because you've solved it. Not because you've wrung every lesson from its bones, but because you finally see it was never yours to keep. The wind stirs the trees. Somewhere a bird takes flight, and for the first time in a long time you notice your hands are empty. Memory is not a photograph. It is not a fixed thing, pinned beneath glass, unchanged by time. It is more like a dream, shifting each time you revisit it, details rearranging themselves to suit the story you tell yourself now. You sit with this realization, and something in you laughs. Not a bitter laugh, not the kind that comes from cynicism or exhaustion, but the kind that bubbles up when you finally see the joke that's been playing on you all along. How seriously you've treated these phantoms, how much weight you've given to shadows, mistaking them for stone. There was the night she left, or was it morning? The light in your memory flickers between street lamp gold and dawn's pale blue. Did she say, I can't do this anymore, or I don't love you? Did you beg her to stay, or did you stand silent, already grieving? The details blur. The edges soften. The past is not a recording. It is a story you've been telling yourself, and like all stories, it changes with the telling. You think of the way sunlight slants through a window differently at noon than at dusk. The past is like that. Not a fixed point, but a reflection of the angle you choose to look at it from. The fight you remember as a betrayal might, from another vantage, have been a mercy. The failure that haunted you for years might, in another light, have been the first step toward something else entirely. Where does a shadow go when you stop blocking the sun? You turn the question over in your mind. A shadow isn't a thing in itself. It's just the absence of light. The past is the same. It only exists because you stand between it and the present, casting your attention backward. But when you turn toward the light, when you stop straining to see what's behind you, the shadow dissolves. Not erased, not forgotten, but seen for what it is, an illusion of substance. You test it. You think of a moment you've carried like a wound, her hand slipping from yours, the sound of a door closing too softly. But this time you don't press into it. You don't dissect it. You let it rise, and then you let it pass like a cloud across the sky, and something strange happens. The memory doesn't vanish. It just loses its weight. It becomes a dream you once had, vivid but distant, no more solid than last night's moonlight. You laugh again, softer this time. All this time, you thought you were holding on to something real. But the past was never yours to keep. It was only ever a story. And stories, like dreams, fade in the light of morning. Time is not a river. It is not a road stretching behind and before you. It is a single point, this breath, this heartbeat, this flicker of awareness. Now, you sit very still, testing the idea like a tongue probing a missing tooth. The past, which had seemed so solid, so inescapable, is suddenly just another thought passing through the open field of your mind. A cloud drifting, a bird calling once before vanishing into the sky. Experiment. Pick up a single regret, that harsh word spoken years ago, the chance not taken, and hold it lightly in your palm. Feel its weight, its texture, the way it hums with old ache. Then, like a pebble dropped into still water, let it fall into the lake of your awareness. Plink. The ripples spread, circles widening, distorting the reflection of your face on the surface. You watch, curious. The regret doesn't vanish, it transforms. The sharp edges soften, the weight dissolves, the ripples fade and the water settles again, clear and undisturbed. No effort, no struggle, just noticing. A thought arises. What if you've been the jailer all along? Not the past, not the memories, not the phantom of the person you used to be. You. The one who kept revisiting the cell, who polished the bars with your attention, who mistook the familiar ache of confinement for safety. The realization doesn't come with fanfare. It's quiet, like the moment between inhale and exhale when the body decides, without your permission, to breathe again. Outside, a leaf detaches from a branch and spirals down. A car door slams 2 streets over, the refrigerator hums to life, all of it happening now. None of it asking for your opinion, your judgment, your permission to exist. You try another pebble, this time a cherished memory. The way her hair caught the light that afternoon in June. The sound of her laughter like wind chimes, you drop it into the water and watch. The ripples are the same. The water doesn't distinguish between gold and stone. It accepts both and lets both go. The past isn't a place. It's a story you tell yourself about a place that no longer exists. And the key to the cell? It's been in your hand the whole time. The dance begins when you stop counting steps. One moment, you're holding your breath, waiting for the music to tell you where to move next. The next, your shoulders drop, your hands uncurl. The rhythm isn't something you command, it's something you surrender to, like leaning into a wind that knows your name. You don't decide to let go, you simply notice you already have. The past doesn't vanish. It loses its edges, like ink dissolving in water. That night you've replayed 1,000 times. The raised voices, the shattered glass, no longer feels like a scar. It's just a moment, one among countless others, no more solid than the scent of rain or the sound of a train passing in the distance. Ah, the exhale slips out before you can catch it. This is the secret. The past was never your burden to carry. It was never a chain around your ankles or a stone in your chest. It was air, imagination, a story you told yourself to make sense of the chaos, to give shape to the shapeless. And stories, like all living things, have their season. You thought freedom would come with a grand revelation, a lightning strike of understanding, a final answer to the question, why? But the ending is quieter than that. It's not an answer at all. It's the absence of the need for one. A breeze stirs the curtains. A clock ticks somewhere in another room. The present isn't a destination you've arrived at after a long journey. It's the ground beneath your feet, the only place you've ever been. You catch your reflection in the window, just a flicker, there and gone. And for the first time in years, you don't search it for ghosts. The face looking back is neither the one you remember nor the one you expected to become. It's just you. Here. Now. The music swells, wordless and warm. You don't try to name it. You don't try to lead. You just sway, effortless, as the dance goes on without you, and when the next breath comes, you take it, not because you should, because it's all there is. Ah. This